Art Farts. I'm here. My name is Julee.
My name is Tony.
My name is Jenna.
I don't know why I ever let you guys, or ever think you guys can start the intro of the show. I think it's really easy, but you guys have both messed up. Both of
This
you.
is the first time I've done it. So, okay.
I've done it multiple times and I care about it.
She what?
Keep going.
Who?
You.
Okay.
Tell us what this is.
Welcome to Julee's Art Farts. This is a podcast where we talk about art. All of us together.
Yeah, Julee is a renowned art student and artist. She has much knowledge in the world of art. Jenna and I are fun to be around, and that's what the show is. So we learn about art from Julee's stuff. And last week, Jenna, last episode, you...
Wait, before we get into the show.
Stop.
I had to clean up. I messed up some things that I like to clean up from last episode.
Oh, corrections.
And you also had a question.
Oh.
Remember? Do you remember your question from last episode?
Yeah. Okay, so the last episode was about...
The soup.
Right? Yeah, Andy Warhol soup.
Yeah.
And
God.
The question I had
sticking with you guys.
was, what does Campbell soup think of the soup?
Yeah.
And you didn't know, but now you know.
Now I know. And before I get into that, though, I did mess up.
How many times are we going to stop?
Well, I didn't. Let me talk about this first, and then you can bring that question up. Okay, so I had said that
Did she ask me?
Everybody loved Andy Warhol, and they did. But this was his first gallery show, so he was the critics were pretty harsh on him for these soups.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't take that into consideration. This is the first time he showed this kind of stuff. So it wasn't a great show.
Oh, okay, so critically, people were maybe against it, but he had a following already?
No. This was his first thing. So after this, he started becoming popular.
So that's pretty brave of him to start off with something that's well,
other people are doing it, but a lot of people weren't they weren't critically acclaimed with it.
Interesting.
And then you also asked in the last episode, how much were they? If you could buy one?
Yeah.
So he was selling them for $100 a piece.
What? 100. Let's go in on one.
So, but I found an inflation calculator, and $100 in 1963 to 2017 has the same buying power as $794.18.
Okay, so it's $800 in back then money.
So I want to know what you guys think. Would you have bought something? You have $800.
But if that's all I have, if I only have $800, I don't think I'm going to spend it on the painting of soup. I'll probably buy real soup.
I'm not asking you if that's all you have.
Okay. If I saw it, would I?
Yeah.
Well, Jenna, I don't know. Would you spend a lot of money on art?
Not on the soup one.
I'm gonna change it for your world a little. No offense to you, Jenna, but what if you had $50 in your piggy bank, and there was a nice painting you saw at a craft show that you really liked? Would you spend $50 on it?
Yes, if I really liked it. I'm actually doing that tomorrow because I saw a picture or a painting that I wanted. I'm spending $50 on it.
What?
Really?
Yeah, that's so weird.
Online?
That you just said that. No, it's at Hobby Lobby.
Oh, okay.
They have original art?
No. It's just I don't really want to change the subject too much, but it's just a lemonade in a small, a big thing.
Is it a painting?
It's I don't think it's a painting.
Is it a mass-produced painting? There's multiple ones?
Is it a painting or a 3D
yes.
thing?
I think it's those canvases that you buy. The canvases at store that have...
Yeah, I should have said canvas.
Like a print. Like a printed thing.
On a canvas.
Yeah.
Oh, so this isn't changing from the subject. That's on the subject. You're going to buy a picture of lemonade. That's not that different than a can of soup.
Well, yeah, but a lemonade's more pleasing to me.
But yeah, so that's interesting. That's cool. And it's $50?
I think it's like 45, but like I just rounded it to 50.
You should wait for when Hobby Lobby has a sale
or like a coupon.
Well, I tried that the other day, but nope.
So,
okay.
Is that going to be like your first art purchase?
Like an actual like canvas? I think so.
Yeah, like
because I like to paint my own, but like they don't turn out good, so I turn to buying stuff.
So, I mean, I've spent on original art. I used to buy a lot of like comic book art. I think I've spent near $200. I guess
on one piece.
I think so. Yeah, on all my pieces of art, I've spent like
a lot more,
thousands.
So you have a nice art collection.
I don't. A lot of it I don't see though.
Yeah, where is it?
It's in books. It's in sleeves.
Why, you just need frames?
Well, I just don't want it all framed. Actually, I actually don't like a half of it.
Okay.
Okay, so what else? Is that everything on the last one?
No, so about 4 or 5 people bought them at the show, but then an art collector was like, these should all be together. And he called those people up and he's like, do you mind if I keep the collection together? And they're like, sure, we haven't bought it yet. So then he asked Andy, can I just give you $1,000 for all of them? And Andy said, yep. And then he kept it for a long time. And
whoa, he made a bulk deal.
Yeah.
He told everybody else don't buy it, and then he bought it for much cheaper. Because there was like 30 pieces.
Yeah, but only like 4 of them were sold. Like,
but that would have been,
well.
That's 400. Oh,
yeah, but
it wasn't a success.
Yeah. So, and he was he's like, I'll take $1,000.
Cool.
And he got them off his hands. So this guy kept them for 34 years, and then he sold them to the Museum of Modern Art in New York for $15 million. Yeah.
That's a lot of soup.
Yeah. Okay, and real quick, to go to your question, Tony. Campbell's loved Warhol.
I knew
after this.
I knew they would like enjoy all the...
They loved it because he made them cool. You know?
Yeah.
So, and later they paid homage to him with this thing called a super dress. I'm going to show you this picture. And I'm going to show Jenna this picture.
And everybody looked down at their phone.
So if you just search Campbell's super dress.
I'll link to it in the notes.
Okay, cool. So what Campbell's did was they said, send in 2 soup can labels and $1 and you get this cool paper dress that you could wear. Which has like a Campbell's print from Warhol.
Do they have to license his image? Do they have to pay him anything? Because it's his, it's their stuff.
That's their stuff.
But they're using the print of his painting.
That's not that. That actually, the print on the dress isn't exactly from the painting, but it's just like.
Because they could either use theirs or they could use his.
I don't think they would pay him.
That would be interesting. That would be so. Please find out for next episode.
No.
Call up their legal department and see about that.
Okay,
awesome.
That's it. Sorry, let's get.
No, I love it. I love it. We got to be accurate here.
I don't know if I'd wear that dress.
What? It's pretty cool.
Would you wear a lemonade dress?
Me? Yes.
So, Jenna, last episode, you made the suggestion of the piece that we will talk about today. That piece was...
The Scream.
The Scream. Who is the artist of this, Julie?
Edvard Munch. Or, sorry, if you're going to pronounce it the correct way, it has a V. So, Edvard Munch.
Edvard Munch.
There you go. That's good.
Try it, Jenna.
Edvard Munch.
Good.
Is it with like an N? Like, how do you spell his last name?
Munch. So it's spelled like Munch.
Oh, okay. Munch.
It's a hard
CH. I can't say that.
He's Norwegian.
Okay, give us some background on him. So he's Norwegian from Norway.
Mm-hmm. And he moved to Paris as a young lad and studied there. That's where Paris was, where it's happening. Well, actually, I guess we could go back to an old episode that we talked about, Starry Night. It's around the same time as that. And Van Gogh was in France. Paris was a big art scene during this time.
It was a place to be. So all the young artists who are trying are going to Paris to try to get discovered and make it big and be appreciated. Let's start with the painting. How big is this? Everybody has their tape measure?
Yes. All right. 36 inches tall.
36 tall. Oh, hold on. That's kind of tall. Okay.
Wow, this is bigger than I thought.
And 29 inches wide.
All right, so this is it's a good size.
Pretty big.
That'll look good in any living room.
Except that it's on cardboard. How do you feel about that?
What?
What?
Like a box? Like a fridge box?
It's on a piece of cardboard. So maybe it's a nicer cardboard than like a fridge box.
Well, is it like cardboard made for art, or is it like cardboard of a box?
Every time I looked it up, it just said cardboard.
Is there like a fold flap somewhere and like some tape that was ripped off?
There's like nicer pieces of like poster board and cardboard now, so that's what I'm assuming it is. Kind of just like a thicker, more solid piece of cardboard, but it's still the same material.
Is that normal for things to be painted on cardboard?
It's not normal, but during this time, I think there's a lot of experimenting. So
was it a choice of like he wants to do it on cardboard, or is it he wanted to?
Yeah,
he wanted to. What is it on cardboard? What's the material?
So it is tempera paint. You guys are familiar with tempera paint. I think that's one of the most common paints.
That's like the paints you get out of jars or like
it's like
bottles.
A school paint. It's pretty cheap. Yeah. And pastel crayons.
Oh,
I see that now.
Mm-hmm. I have an art box right next to me full of pastel crayons.
Yeah, so if you could see, you could see that on the kind of like the linear.
Yeah, you can see the little lines of, especially the blue. This sounds kind of cheap. Why? Like, was he painting on the cheap? Was it a decision, or was it what he had?
You know what's interesting? There's 4 versions of this. Like, there's multiple versions of this, like other versions on cardboard. This one's the most, what is it?
The most known or prevalent? Or?
The other ones are really similar, but you could tell that they're different. But I think he was just kind of, just busting them out.
Is at the time he's painting this, is he a successful person?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does he become a successful person?
Yeah, he is pretty successful. I know right now he's a very successful artist in terms of like he's a great colorist that people would say.
Jenna, why did you first choose this piece?
Okay, so I was looking for this one, but I found The Starry Night, and then I saw that one like the waves, I guess, like kind of related to here to the screen, and I liked I don't know. I just I like the way that it's painted in pastel crayons.
Yeah, so it just
the way that they did it.
So it caught your eye, the form, the waves, the line work,
the color, texture.
And that's what the word. That's the term we would use, right? Line work when talking about the strokes, or how do we talk about this piece?
I think mostly you would talk about the color, the movement of the lines, the shapes and the forms.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I made a crazy prediction in the last episode. I think the face looks like that, like surprised or what emoji is that? Like,
oh
your face, like goes like this shape.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what emojis looked at.
I actually looked into that because you said that, and a lot of people call it the scream emoji or the Home Alone emoji, and it depends on what system you use, because some systems have, like the operating systems have a very Like the Apple one, it looks a lot like the screen, but some other systems have more of a round face, and I think it looks a little more Home Alone. So they're called both, but they do call it the screen emoji.
Now, and that's like, if I'm thinking about this one, the face is very like open, and it could kind of be anybody's face. The Mona Lisa looked like that woman, right? And Michelangelo's David was that perfect man kind of thing. And this one, this is our first time looking at a person who, like, it's a person, but that's not like a person I've seen.
So it's very generic, right?
Yeah.
So then what does that make you think about the work, the painting? So if you're not seeing any person, what are you getting from it?
Like a feeling. Like, I feel like it could be me, or it could be anyone, or it's like in my mind, or it's like a dream, or a feeling, a thought. Because I'm scared of this one.
Okay.
Jenna, are you like freaked out a little bit?
Yes and no. I'm saying yes just because this person, or like what this person is supposed to look like, looks like he's frightened, like he's like scared of the boogeyman or something. Like he's scared of something. So that's why I'd say I would be scared. But then I'm not scared because the background is like kind of not calming. Well, I mean, kind of. Do you know what I'm saying? Like.
Well, what do you think? Keep going.
Or,
kind of calming, or kind of what?
Or like, it's just like what you want to see, kind of like the sun, or like the sky is like orange from like the sun, I guess, or and like it just looks very pretty in the background and calming. But then you look at the person and he looks very scared. He or she looks very scared. So yes and no.
So there's this reaction of the surroundings, the scenery, that's making this person feel this way.
Because I agree. Like, I think the skyline looks like a nice skyline, like but then I think the world kind of like falls apart around him. Like, it feels like it's all swirling or flushing down a toilet, and he's like, "Oh." Yeah. To me, this guy sounds like woo. Like, he reminds me of those wacky inflatable arm flailing tube men who are always trying to sell you things.
I know what you're talking about. I like those.
So part of it, it looks cool and there's stuff I like, but it doesn't feel okay. I feel uneasy and nervous. Jenna, would you like this in your room? Like when it's dark and then you lean over from your bunk bed and then you see that, ooh, Jenna, like.
No. And yes. No and yes because no, yes because of the background and no because of the person. So I guess I'd rather have example the Starry Night, which is looks very calming and like nice and pretty in my bedroom, rather than like nice, pretty, and scary kind of, you know?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed this, but so this was painted in 1893, which is just a few years after Starry Night. You would have assumed that it was during the same time, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the lines and the movements and the idea of taking a real scene and making it dreamlike, where Starry Night is kind of a nicer dream, or a little bit crazy. Yeah. So
all of this that you're saying ties in exactly with what period it is.
Good job, Jenna.
Van Gogh was a post-impressionist, if you guys remember.
Post-impression. Yeah.
And this actually, Edvard Munch is part of the symbolism period, which is right after post-impressionists. Post-impressionists gave the influence to symbolism.
And what's the symbolism period about?
So it is taking post-impressionist and impressionist ideas to the extreme. Niceness wasn't as important as showing, what reality is. They wanted the emotion to come out even more than what the Impressionists did.
So, go ahead, Jenna.
I have a quick question for both of you. Do you think so? From what Julissa just said about the I can't say that word. Impressionists.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
So do you think this artist saw The Starry Night and said, that got really famous, so let's try to not copy
But
it?
remember, The Starry Night didn't get famous.
Yeah.
He died, that artist died poor
and probably no one saw that.
For a while.
Never mind. Sorry. I was going to say, like, do you think he saw that and said, those waves are, like...
But, like, I see what you're saying, but if they're in the same time, and they're in the same kind of schools of art, which means, like, the same kinds of thinking, and they're influenced by the same people, and that's where the art world is going, then they're all kind of going in the same direction together. So we haven't done any Impressionism yet. We've been doing these pieces just after. So it'd be interesting to go to Impressionism next and see how that influenced maybe what these guys are doing.
Yeah, I think actually that would help a lot of understanding and stuff, like why all these guys chose what they did.
Why they painted the way they painted.
Yeah, so maybe he didn't see Van Gogh, but if you look at, actually if you see a lot of other Van Gogh pieces before that, and just different artists during the time, they all had similar styles, similar colors, similar ideas.
It's like, Jenna, it's like with music, when some kind of sound becomes popular, then everybody kind of does that thing. And then in 5 years, everybody does something that came from that sound. Like, it goes in these waves and stuff.
So, like, one thing revolves, I don't know if revolves is the right word to describe this, but one thing, let's say, like, let's make this as a visual, like, one thing's in the middle, and then everything else is, like, revolving around it and, like, doing the same thing?
Yeah, I think it comes out of it like waves. And maybe it goes in slightly different directions based on where the people are. So maybe those waves start to change and look different. Maybe it'll look different in Italy than in France or in China or in New York. But they can all point back to that center, like you're saying, to show where the main influence came from. Well, where does this piece live now, Julie?
In Norway.
Oh, they kept it there?
Yeah, he painted this in Paris, but it's in the National Gallery in Oslo, Norway.
I'm guessing, because I don't know a lot, is Norway big in the art scene?
I don't know many Norwegians.
Jenna, do you know anything about Norway?
No.
Is he like the I'm guessing he's like the national hero.
He's got to be pretty big over there.
Like,
right?
The museum named after him, the university named after him. You know, all the people named Edvard, boy or girl, dishes and everything. Like, this has to be a big thing. Julie, when you look at this piece, do you have a like or dislike or reaction or feeling, personally?
Personally, not so much, but I feel like I've also been, like, washed from it because I've seen it so much in my life. Like, the form of the figure, I kind of get, like, I've gotten kind of tired of it. I don't know. Seeing all his other works, I'm way more into his other stuff. And maybe that's just because I've never seen...
I don't know if I've seen any of his other stuff.
I don't know. I can't think of anything that you would have seen. But when you, like, look him up, and he's a printmaker too, and it's like, he's, like, his forms are so interesting, and colors are a big part of his work.
Does he stay with this style?
Yeah, everything's pretty form. Like, everything's a pretty big form. His figures usually have more of a face in his work. Actually, they don't have a face at all, like, though they're in shadow, or they would have more detail, like hair and stuff like that.
For me, this piece is kind of like an old scary movie, where I think if I was in a dark room with this painting, it would be so scary. If I was alone and it was quiet, Like, and if I looked at it for an hour, like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like you,
Like it's just staring
if you
into
keep,
your soul.
yeah, if you keep looking at the face, it doesn't feel good. But I've seen so many parodies of it
Yeah.
in cartoons that it's kind of corny, and it doesn't have that effect.
Yeah.
Like an old scary movie that kind of seems corny nowadays.
I see what you mean. I wonder if it would be different to see it in person. I wonder if, like, just seeing the texture, actually being able to see the texture, would change anything. There's so much layers of paint on this. You know, like, I don't know.
But I feel like it would be more scary to see it in. Well, I mean, not like scary, but
No,
you
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
I feel like it would be more scary to see it in person because it's like one, it's right there, and two, you could see more details and like it's staring into your soul.
Yeah, and like,
And it's big.
It's big, and the colors are intense. Like that red is like red out of a paint tube. That's a harsh color to look at.
Now, because it's cardboard and cheap tempera paint and pastel crayons on top, is this thing gonna last?
I mean, it's lasted for a while, and it looks like it's in really good condition. So I don't know if that's just like the texture.
I mean, I'm sure they're taking care of it now.
Yeah.
But all paintings will, over time, degrade. I just feel weird to like a piece that's so valuable and known to be so. It feels fragile in me. Like those materials don't sound like they're meant. Like they're not like oils or something.
Yeah. Which also, you know, makes you. I think it's inspiring that these two pretty cheap mediums can be used to make such a, you know, people would say masterpiece. Because sometimes people go, like, you need the best art supplies, this and that.
Is he the graffiti artist of his day?
Yeah.
Like, think about it. He's got, like, these garbage materials, and he's just, like, real quick and wavy and curvy. And he's just making these works that kind of freak you out, but also look interesting to you. He's a street artist of his day. You know, he's jumping over fences and train yards and whatnot.
Painting on cardboard.
So this one's in Norway. It's in a museum.
Yes.
Did it, any other information on it that we need to think about?
Actually, yes. I think this is a big thing that pretty much breaks this. No.
Okay.
You wouldn't know this unless you looked it up and looked into it. You guys, okay, so you guys know it is extreme emotion, and that's basically what symbolism artists are doing. They're going intense. These fantastical worlds. That's what they want to create. So, Edvard Munch actually wrote a journal, and he wrote about this moment. This is a moment in his life, and he wrote exactly the moment. And after I read this journal to you, this entry, I think you guys, I mean, it explains exactly
Oh man,
how
I'm
he's feeling.
scared. She's gonna unveil this work to us.
Which is interesting too, because now you're gonna know, you know, how he's feeling.
It's not just gonna be a visual art thing. We're gonna know the story.
So, and I wonder, like, is that gonna change anything for you guys? Do you guys like just having a mystery? Do you want to know?
I like having mysteries because I like to. I always like to just sit down and like think, like, and that's why I'm into conspiracy theories because I like to sit down and just think about it. So I like more mysteries, but I still want to hear the journal.
So you would want to know, even though maybe, I don't know, will it ruin it for you guys? Because now it's not your interpretation, it's not your emotion. You're gonna know exactly what he feels.
We have to know, Jenna. We're scholars on this show, so we have to know. Break it down to us, Julee.
Okay.
From the journal of Edvard Munch.
Yes. I was walking along the road with two friends. The sun was setting. I felt a breath of melancholy. Suddenly the sky turned blood red. I stopped and leaned against the railing, deathly tired, looking out across the flaming clouds that hung like blood and a sword over the blue, black fjord and town. My friends walked on. I stood there, trembling with fear, and I sensed a great, infinite scream pass through nature.
That changed a lot. And is that what those two things back there?
Yeah,
like,
two guys. Yeah.
Those are people. I was like, what is that? Oh.
So he just is felt like there's how did it change for you, Jenna? What?
It's less exciting now because like I like the mystery, but like I don't know, like I get it. I get it more than I did like in the beginning.
So, am I right? Is he like overcome by something like of a?
I think
of a
the nature,
feeling?
yeah, it like totally just
Like
took him over.
I
Nature
thought-
was overwhelming.
I thought he was going to say he saw two parents chasing after their little kid who was running down the boardwalk, being a brat. Yeah, see, this is a very scary painting. And I think that's the kid's head is an upside down pear. I think that's how he put a pear down on a table and then he turned his canvas upside down. And that's how he got the shape.
Oh, earlier you said because there's no like detail in this. He specifically did that. Just use simplified forms to force the viewer to find meaning themselves instead of looking at the details. So,
which is what, and I'm going to like jump like 50 years or not like 40, 30 years. Okay. But like, is this the beginnings of cartoons? Like, think about curvy forms that the faces are abstract, so everybody can like make connections with.
I mean, that's like really tricky.
He looks like a cartoon, like his arms flailing. Like that's how like old Mickey Mouse's arms used to work, Steamboat Willie and all that.
Yeah. But
I mean, but in art, nobody's wrong, so I'm totally could be right.
Well, I mean, if we're thinking like simplified forms, like I get a lot of cartoon inspiration from looking at African art, which is way older than this, and I'm like, those simplified forms are great. The shape faces are great. The arms are great. And I would say Asian art also, like the Asian prints we talked about a little bit. Those are pretty simplified and cartoony. And those are all before this. So...
But isn't this the thing in between those?
Well, this is after those.
No, it's in between cartoons and old African art. Isn't this the connector?
What do you mean?
This gets us to cartoons from the African shapes.
Oh, you're saying African art here and then?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say. I think, if anything, they're more inspired by the Asian art. Remember Van Gogh? We talked about was inspired by Asian art. So...
Well, you could put anything in between. I'm trying to just connect this to cartoons.
I could actually see a connection to the Japanese prints from the flatness of this. If we're gonna... Picasso was really influenced by African art. There's a connection.
I'll work on my theory.
Okay.
So, awesome. Jenna, do you have any other questions on this one?
Actually, yes. I don't know if you mentioned this, but I think you did, or that was about the soup. I'm not sure. How much is this worth today? Like, do you know?
No, I don't know.
It's priceless. It's in a museum at this point, right? So...
Like, if it was at auction, paintings go for so much money now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have no idea.
Okay.
Interesting. Anything else to drop for us, Julie?
No.
Okay, so it's my turn to pick the next painting. And I think we should go to Impressionism. And I didn't think of one.
Okay.
But, is Degas Impressionism? Or where should we go, Monet?
What do you want?
What would help us? Because we've done 2 posts. I want to get into it so we could maybe draw connections.
Okay. I would, if you want to do super, super impressionist, I would say Monet is like the impressionist guy.
Okay.
The guy's a little different because you could argue that he's realist because he's showing images of people, which is around the same time. Realist is a little different than impressionist.
Okay, so let's do Monet.
Okay.
I don't have one in particular.
Okay.
Maybe I'll look through a couple. I know there's like...
The water lilies.
Wheat fields and like...
The haystacks?
Haystacks and stuff, like those.
Okay.
So I'll try to... Because there's a lot of very similar things
Yeah.
you did, right? So I'll pick like one example, and we'll talk about that next time. Maybe Jenna, do you know who Monet is?
No.
Well, you will know Monet next time.
Okay.
Yes.
And for that, Jenna, tell people where they could hear more episodes.
At sailboatradio.com, Apple Podcasts, and any podcast apps.
And where can they see more of Julie's awesome works?
At jalisatorres.com.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Until then, thanks, Julie, for dropping the art knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Okay. Bye. Bye.